Howdy folks, Bodine52, hope you are well. This is my 2021 Road Glide Limited, and I am going to give you a 5,000 mile review on this bike today. We're going to do a walk around, I'm going to show you all about it, and then we're going to get it on the road, talk about the things I really like, and a couple of things I don't like so much. Alrighty folks, this is a 2021 Road Glide Limited. It is in Midnight Crimson. It has a Milwaukee 8114 in it. And let's start off while it's sitting here and we're talking to look at what kind of storage it has. Because at the end of the day, it's a cruiser and most people do use it for that. So let's go ahead and look at the tour pack. First of all, on the Limited, that's different from the regular Road Glide, is you do have this luggage rack, which by the way, I have used. And this is the space that you actually have in the tour pack. What I did is I put my wife's helmet in here just for illustration purposes. But I will tell you, if you put these next to each other and you don't have all the gear on it like I do, you can actually get two helmets in here. So really some good space. You can see a place for glasses, just your manuals. And this is just something that I have around there to carry some stuff in. I forgot even where I got this thing from. So a lot of room. Actually does have power, so you have that if you need it. Tons and tons of space. From a bag perspective, here's the right bag. This is where I keep most of my rain gear, some of my tools. When the wife and I are going, I try to limit this as much as I can. She gets one side, I get the other, and then of course we have to fill this with gear. But other than that, plenty of space. If you look at the other side, same thing. This one kind of has less in it, gloves, other stuff, but plenty and plenty of space. So that works out great. One of the things I really like about this bike as well, I used to have a Ultra Limited, which I loved, but it did not have these front compartments, which from a space perspective are awesome. I actually keep a couple things in there, including the remote to the garage door, as well as on this side, same thing. It's also a power plug in here that you could hook in, so it's pretty awesome. Right here, same thing, power. So that is actually also a USB. So there is plenty of room on this thing for touring, two up, and packing a lot of stuff. Alrighty, from a dash and control perspective, everything is really nice and handy on the handlebars. One of the things that's different about this bike, and you'll notice this when I get on a ride, is you are sitting further back from the screen. So that takes a little bit getting used to, but as soon as you learn how to work the controls, you'll go, oh man, I wish I never had to go touch the screen on my older bike, right? So it's really nice and neat. A lot of stuff on this that I will tell you. This one does have navigation on it. A little bit different because it's a 21, so it's an upgraded model of the Harley boombox, which always isn't considered the best out there. But I did want to show you a couple things. It is tons better than the 2018 I had. It has radio, speakers, all that stock. They're not the greatest, to be honest. I will tell you that that is a potential upgrade. I think they sound fine until you're going 70 miles an hour, but who does that anymore? I mean, I usually are using some sort of headset for that as well, or my Senna. Cluster gauge, not that much different. Miles per hour, RPMs, and of course, fuel as well as voltage. If you look at the boombox, there's a couple different options, and I am going to go ahead and use my fingers just for illustration purposes. This will take you any tunes that you want. This will take you into the phone app. This will take you into navigation. So for those, again, that have had the previous navigation, I do want to show you the response. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit destinations and say go home. See how quick that was? Pretty amazing, wasn't it? So that is one thing that I am super excited about with this bike. The navigation is better and much more responsive. Don't let anybody tell you that it's not. If you look at the right hand side here, that is what will go ahead and toggle through things. You can get to the radio, go to the left side, it takes you back. You can go into the navigation, do things from there, whether you want to get a closer look, etc. So actually really helpful. Settings, has audio displays, all of the things that you normally need in there. One of the things I also like about this bike is I love to be able to see the tire pressure, right? I'm not sure if you can tell that 45 in the back, 38 in the front. That is because I just rode here. That's why they're high. Does go ahead and tell you if you are low before you get on the bike, which is pretty awesome. So other than that, it's the normal headlights. I'll go ahead and turn some of this stuff on for you, as well as cruise control, speech, hazards, all that stuff. This stuff here is mirrors that I've put on. And if you're just looking at the stock headlamp, that headlamp is stock. The rest of the lights on the bike are something I've added. All right, so I also want to walk around and talk a little bit about some of the things that I've actually done to the bike. One, to show you options, but two, to really talk to you about, you don't need to do them all if you're going to buy this motorcycle. Who's kidding who? These things roughly are 29, 30, 31,000 bucks. So they're expensive. A lot of people don't want to dump a lot of stuff into the bike, and it has taken me time. So I have put a Clockworks windshield on the bike. The stock one is fine. It's not perfect, but I do like the Clockworks a little bit better. I talked to you a little bit about the stock lights. I have put these vent lights in. I put the turn signals on, and I've also put these windshield trim on that lights up as you turn as well. So those things are super cool, but stuff I added, but you don't need to do that. The lights are perfectly fine as they come stock. I did put pegs on it, so for some comfort. Again, you don't have to have those on it, but if you're going to go touring, hey, it's a nice thing to have. I will tell you, I'm getting ready to replace these. I'm not a fan of something that's kind of hooking to that front bar, and I'm going to go with a different option here soon. But you really, again, you don't need those. You can see that is a Screaming Eagle air cleaner. I have upgraded the bike to a stage 1. Right now, that's my plan on doing what I'm going to do with the motor, but we'll see how that goes. So that is an add to the bike, but you don't need to do that. It's a 114. It runs great. From a rear end perspective, I did put Cobra 909s on there as part of the stage 1. Stock are fine. They may not make that great Harley sound that you like, but you don't need to do it. From a lighting perspective, stock, this is actually stock here, but these filler lights and the tail light is something I also put on custom dynamics. But again, you don't need to do that. And as I round around the bike, I did put some cosmetic stuff on. Obviously my Willie Skull stuff, which my wife really loves. And these really super cool mirrors that are real helpful for me on the bike, seeing things coming up on me. Quite frankly, I think they look pretty cool. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and get the helmet on, get on the bike, and talk about some other stuff. This bike is no different if you own a Harley on getting it in neutral, but you got that figured out. Not that big of a deal. This one does not come with the heel shifter, which I don't like anyway, but they no longer come like that. And they also only come with one key fob. Isn't that nice? But it is extremely comfortable. I'm going to get out here on some back roads and try to show you a little bit of the handling. I am not going to go over all the stats of the motorcycle other than telling you that it's a 114. I'll leave a link to the bike in the description so you can go look up all that data. I just want to give you my 5,000 mile review on a normal guy. What do you like? What do you don't like? Alrighty, one of the things that I really do like on this bike, I am about 6'2", 6'3", and for me, this is a much more comfortable motorcycle than many other touring models.
And it really makes you, with the screen and everything away from you, it definitely does make you feel that you got that extra room on the bike, that things are a little farther away from you. But as you can see, there is plenty of leg room on the motorcycle. I have tilted these bars up a little bit. It makes it a little more comfortable. I will tell you one thing I didn't like is the stock one comes with the bars tilted down. And, I think the people that ultimately designed that must have been 5'2", because it just really doesn't work. So that is one thing that even the dealer, as you take it, will make that modification and tilt them up for you. They're not as good as, say, getting 14-inch bars, but it has made a difference in the riding. So that's something that I wish was a little bit different on the bike. But from a room perspective, there is just tons and tons of space on the bike. And I'm a tall and big guy, so I feel super comfortable on this bike. Have ridden it. My wife and I have taken a 1,500-mile trip together on it, and it was just a pleasant experience. I will tell you that one of the things that I'm considering is a suspension upgrade to the bike. Again, like I've been talking about, it's not something that you have to do. Now, those folks that have new suspension will tell you, and maybe I'll be one of those at some point, oh my God, it's like night and day. You'll wish you did it at the beginning, right? But I'll tell you, I don't feel like the suspension is really that bad. So if you are getting a new one of these bikes or buying a used one, new to you, right? The suspension may not be where you put your money if you were going to go ahead and do some sort of upgrade plan. But again, I'm telling you, you don't have to. You really don't. I probably will end up doing that, but that's just my choice, and obviously doesn't have to be yours. So just traveling a little bit of the back roads here in Michigan. We're just coming into spring, so things are a lovely, ugly brown right now, but just being out on the road is good. But this bike really does just ride smooth. I normally will run 75 or 80 on the interstate, obviously when the speed limit dictates it, and it really handles just perfectly. There's no shakes when it gets to a certain speed, even though I would never go that fast. Really have not felt that at all on this motorcycle. Honestly, it just glides, and in my mind cuts through the wind better than some other bikes. So I mentioned earlier that I did have a 2018 Ultra Limited. Went by the name of Big Mama, and I loved that bike, but did upgrade to this one, and they're really a lot similar other than the Batwing fairing and the Shark Nose. And I did a video on comparing those two motorcycles. I'll also link at the end of this video so you can go watch that if you want, if you're trying to make a decision. But both fantastic bikes. I'll tell you what I liked about the Limited better, and I'll tell you why I ultimately ended up with this one. But this thing is super smooth. We talked earlier, does have cruise control, right? And as you know, I want to make sure I'm safe here. These bikes, especially this big, once you're going, they just ride themselves. They really do. I will tell you, this bike, I believe, is 935 pounds wet. And if I'm wrong, I'm going to put it right here, the exact weight, because I want you to know that. So, why I say that is if you have challenges maybe picking up the bike from the kickstand, maybe you have a knee problem, or you really just can't handle all of the weight, then this bike may be too heavy for you, right? Now, I'm sure some folks in the comments are going to say, well, you can get on the bike differently, and you can help yourself by turning the handlebars to the right, making it easier to pick up. Yes, you can, but if you have, some problems with knees or a bad back all the time, it's just something to consider. Go ahead and take a ride on it. Take a ride, obviously, on something a little lighter. I do have a 2000 Road King Classic, obviously an older bike, but it's also about 300 pounds less, and I can, without a doubt, tell the difference in moving that bike around. But once this bike is on and going, I'll tell you what, there is nothing smoother, and you can definitely handle it. So I will tell you that the infotainment system on this, as I spoke about earlier, if you're one of those guys or gals that run it while you're riding, as you're going through some of these back roads at 40, 45, hey, it's going to be fine. If you're going to higher speeds, you don't. Honestly, again, I listen through my Senna, and it sounds great. So if you're really into that, playing it without a headset and running the radio, then that's something that you just may want to consider as you're buying this bike, but is really the same with a lot of stock Harleys. So this is one of my favorite roads back here. As you can see, the bike really has the agility to be moved around, especially once you're going. This road up here does have some twisties on it, so I'm going to go ahead and ride through that with you just to show you some of its agility. I am going to take it at an appropriate speed, really for a couple reasons. But the main reason is we are just coming out of the spring, so there's still a bunch of gravel around, so I'm just being a little careful. It'd be a shame to show you a video on evaluating this motorcycle while I crash. So that's a no-no. So let's go ahead and hit this road and see what you think. So folks, hopefully that showed you some of the maneuverability. Not sure how that came out on camera, of being able to get through some of those twisties, and it can even get you through hell. So that's Hell, Michigan, that is. And I will tell you what, if you are considering a road glide, I will tell you that I would totally recommend it. I am so excited about this bike, and I hope to put many thousands of miles on this one. It is my main rider compared to my Road King, but I certainly love this bike. For every one little flaw, there's 10 great things about it, and there's nothing perfect. That's why we make it our own, right? So I would strongly recommend that you go ahead and get one of these, or at least ride it. And if you're one of those guys that say, or gals that say, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, get on the motorcycle and just take it for a test ride, and you'll change your mind. I promise you that. So, hey, if you are interested in more about the Road Glide Limited, I do have a playlist that I will link. Actually, I'll put that at the end of this video as well, that you can go in there and see my other videos. It'll show you installations of some of the stuff that I actually put on the bike, you know, the lights, the seats, you know, all that stuff. In case you're wanting to add stuff, gives you some things to consider or look at, and then if you're going to put them on, just kind of a tutorial on some of that stuff. And in the description at the bottom, you'll also find links to all of those things that I got on or that I have on the bike. So it'll take you right to them, as well as some stuff that I have on my Road King and I had on my other bike. So at least you can go in and click on that. It'll take you right to an Amazon link. Make sure that they fit your motorcycle, because these are for mine. So, but if you're new to the channel, thank you for stopping in. Hopefully this helped you a little bit. I do have an Instagram page, goes by Bodine52. If you have some questions, you can either leave them in the comments, or if you want to send me a private message, you can go to my Instagram account and private message me there. People do it all the time. I'd be glad to share with you stuff that I've done to the bike, anything else to help you making your decision, because at the end of the day, we're all brothers and sisters in riding, in this great hobby of riding motorcycles. So be safe out there. If you liked the video, go ahead and hit the like button. If you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and hit subscribe and hit that little bell. So every time I post a video, you'll get a notification that it's there. But thanks for tagging along with me today. I do appreciate it. And make sure to be safe out there on and off the motorcycle. And do me a favor, go check on a friend. Bye-bye, folks.